Big Hut. Big pizza, bigger deal.
Big New Yorker only at pizzahut.com.
877-710-ESPN.
It's the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Tipping off now.
Here's Alan Sliwa.
All right, 125-118, the final score. Clippers over the Lakers. Clippers now 42-38, so they gain a game on the Lakers. They have the tiebreaker as well. 41-39 are the Lake Show. So Lakers put themselves obviously in an incredibly tough spot. I mean, when I say tough spot, as in you're trying as best as you can to avoid that play-in tournament. And this game against the Clippers, these last two, and it's not like the Lakers haven't been playing good basketball. This is essentially a road game. That means they go 4-1 on this road trip. So let's not make it sound like the Lakers have been struggling, because they haven't. But tonight was an interesting one, right? Tonight was one of those, can you go up against a team in the Clippers that you've struggled against for a long time? They have lost now 11 games in a row against them, and they don't have Paul George. LeBron and Anthony Davis, questionable coming in, end up playing. D'Angelo Russell ends up playing as well, and Clippers still control the game, control the entire game. Zubac 17-13. Russ ended up with 14 points, 4 assists. Kawhi, 25 points, 7 rebounds for him, 9 of 17 from the field. Played 43 minutes, played the entire second half. And part of that is probably because it could be because they haven't played since Saturday. And maybe it's just Ty Lue really wanted to get this win, period. Just no other way around it. He was going to do everything that he possibly can to win this game against the Lakers, and obviously they were able to do that. Norman Powell, most likely the difference of the game, 8 of 15 from the field, 10 of 10 from the free throw line, 27 points. It just kind of goes to the depth that the Clippers have. Bones Highland, 14, Terrence Mann, 10. I did not feel as the game, as we kind of got through the first quarter. First off, Lakers were down, I want to say 15-3 to start the game. Come all the way back, take a 26-25 lead, and then before you blink again, they're down at halftime by 19. So you're already not well rested. You're not fresh. You're coming off a game against the Utah Jazz. And then on top of it, you dug yourself a 19-point deficit. Made it a game in the third quarter. Brought it all the way back down to 7. I mean, it's not like the Lakers weren't putting in the effort, but playing from behind is always risky business in the NBA. Need a break from the everyday? Well, fans, it might be your lucky day, because tonight Fantasy Springs Resort Casino is giving away 2-night stay plus dinner and golf or bowling for 2. Make any day your lucky day. Book now at FantasySpringsResort.com. Phone number is 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-ESPN. Let's take a quick listen. Here's Lakers head coach Darvin Ham on the loss.
Darvin, what did you see as the biggest reason for the deficit in the first quarter and then eventually at the end of the first half?
I mean, the trip we just came off, you don't want to use excuses. Sometimes they're not excuses. They're just real-life circumstances. And we knew in order to make a game of it and give ourselves a chance, we had to start the right way. And, obviously getting in very late, dealing with some different types of weather and different elements, it was going to be tough. And so, but still, our group was competitive. The game could have been easily over in the first half. But, again, we calibrated at halftime. Guys came out, competed their butts off, tried to give us a chance to win. And, we didn't come away with the W, but I'm super-duper proud of our team on the way they performed tonight after getting down and facing a little bit of adversity within the game. But also just over this last stretch of weeks and month or whatever it's been, guys just constantly fighting and clawing, and we've mishandled a couple games here and there in terms of allowing teams to stay close or get back into it, whatever. But nonetheless, this is a prideful, competitive group, and we had some things that just didn't go our way, and it was definitely a lack of energy at the outstart and lack of execution, but we pulled ourselves together to try to give ourselves a chance, and that's all you can ask for.
Ty Lue played Kawhi, I think, 43 minutes the whole second half. Was it difficult for you to think about trying to match some of that by extending AD or LeBron, considering the back-to-back and third and four nights and things along those lines?
Yeah, we went over, but they got into a groove, and you just try to be as responsible as possible with your players' health. So it was no way we were going to allow it. We were going to be able to do that, and our medical staff was going to allow us to do that. So they did what they had to do to get a win, and we did what we had to do to give ourselves a chance to win, not only tonight, but to keep our players in good standing health-wise going forward.
You said, so there was a minutes limit tonight for LeBron and AD. Was that kind of
range? Wasn't really a limit. Range, and again, it's a group decision. We try to manage and be responsible with their rotation early on, and if we pocket a few minutes and dole out extra minutes in the second half, then we do that, and we did that kind of tonight. But it is what it is. The game's over.
There was, I think, with about 6 minutes ago, there was a timeout. You guys were down like 18 or something like that, and you kept your team in the game. Why did you do that? And then what was the value that you saw from that last 6 minutes together?
Well, just trying to give them a chance to compete. We had some balls that didn't bounce our way. Got caught in some bad positions defensively, had to foul. We were making a miss, and then we had some, unfortunate, a couple of nights, without just watching the game, just trying to replay it in my memory. Had a couple of misfortunate offensive possessions, but we also had some moments where, we made some shots, and the guys' energy in their eyes said, let's try to give this thing a chance. But we talked about it in that huddle, saying we want to give it a couple of minutes before we pull the plug to see if we can make a dent into the deficit. And we did that, but it's just saying you can't go back and forth with a team. You can't trade baskets. You got to get consistent stops, and you got to, make sure you get a foul, a bucket, both of those, or three, or something like that, and keep your side of the scoreboard moving as well.
How did those guys, specifically LeBron and AD, come out of the game tonight? Physically, everything okay?
Everything good. Well, they'll go through their normal post-game recovery and check in with the medical, but for all intents and purposes, they're fine.
And then Norman Powell had just a huge game. What issues did you guys have with him? And, there's only so many options when a guy's that hot, that physical, but what kind of problems did he present for you?
I mean, just normal Norman problems. He can score at all three levels. He's tough. He can defend. He rebounds. He gets out in transition. He can handle the ball and make the right play, not only for himself but for his teammates. And he's one of my favorite players to watch, and has been so since his Toronto days. And it's just he's one of the most underrated players in our league, and a huge asset for them to be able to bring a guy like that off the bench with championship pedigree.
That's Lakers head coach Darvin Ham. I couldn't agree more. We talked a little bit about it. Norman Powell, kind of the difference of the game here. Quietly gets to the free throw line, hits his free throws. Not a player that's really talked about all that much in the NBA, but he's got a lot of value, and he showed it tonight. Certainly proved it tonight. All right, we come back. We'll take some of your phone calls. Plus, we'll get a chance to hear from Anthony Davis. Stay right here. Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 7.
Game show.
Highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line.
Presented by Pizza Hut.
Big is back. It's bigger, it's cheesier. The Big New Yorker from Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut. Big pizza, bigger deal. $13.99 Big New Yorker. Only at PizzaHut.com.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers Postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Alan Sliwa.
All right, Points in the Paint all season long is sponsored by Vista Paint. Right now, local residents can take 40% off on factory direct high-quality Vista Paint products. A Vista Paint team member will show you how. Locally owned, manufactured, and operated since 1956. Visit VistaPaint.com and start saving. Lakers lose a game 125-118 against the Clippers. Points in the Paint, 54-46 advantage for the Lakers there. Okay, let's take a couple of calls before we go to Anthony Davis here. Solomon in Lake Balboa. What's going on, Solomon?
Hey, Alan. Thanks, man. Here's the thing about this game tonight and the Clippers in general. I understand they had tired legs. I understand they were sleepwalking in the first half. All that said, as god-awful as they played at times, they lost by 7. They weren't blown out. They make some more free throws. It's even a closer game. But I don't know about you. 2 things. Number 1, I am tired of losing to the Clippers. Number 2, I don't want to meet them in the postseason right now. They just handed it to the Lakers without Paul George. So it's not looking good if the Lakers are going to end up playing the Clippers. And that has to change. I don't know how. I don't know when, but it's got to change.
So, Solomon, appreciate you calling in. So one thing is this, and if you're just tuning in right now, that's 11 losses in a row for the Lakers against the Clippers. I could sit here and make an excuse and say, oh, yeah, but you know what? They just had that game yesterday. They had the Utah Jazz last night, went to overtime. A lot of these guys are probably tired. End of a road trip. I could say all that, and that's not that it's inaccurate, but they didn't have Paul George. So that's their second-best player. If those things probably even themselves out. Clippers, there's a different energy for when they play the Lakers. And I thought the Lakers fought tonight. They just had dug themselves such a hole. The chances of coming back was going to be really difficult. Ken in Newport Beach. What's going on, Ken?
It was pretty disappointing. I've never seen a guy go 3 points and a minus 20 in the first half and then score 30 in the second half. That was crazy, incredible. Another bad game from Dennis Schroeder. Here's my issue with the last couple of games. The Suns play the Nuggets, then the Lakers, and then the Clippers. If the Suns lose one of those games, the Clippers could catch them. So they're not going to sit down and not do anything. They're 2.5 games ahead of the Clippers. Suns are going to come out and play hard. And, the only thing I know the difference between 7th and 8th is 7th and get home court. I don't know of anything else unless I'm missing it.
No, the difference is this, and I appreciate you calling in. So if you're the 7th seed, you get to basically host 2 games to win 1. If you win the first one, you're the 7th seed. If you lose it and you win the second game, when you take on the winner of 9 and 10, then you play the 8th seed. So that's really just kind of the difference between that. Yeah, listen, as far as the motivation of some of these other teams, I don't know the motivation. I can't tell you right now. I'm going to look at something. Head-to-head, Suns and the Clippers. I just want to see if who would have the tiebreaker in this. It looks like the Suns have won 2 of the matchups, so Suns would have the tiebreaker, but if the Clippers win the last one, they'd be 2 apiece. Still a lot of math to figure out there. I don't know if the Clippers' motivation is to get to the 5 seed or the Clippers' motivation is they just want to avoid the play-in tournament. There's a big advantage for avoiding the play-in tournament. It's the risk of having to play those extra games, but it's also 1 week off that to me seems like incredibly important for a lot of these teams. Tony in Lancaster. What's going on, Tony?
Hey, what's up, Slee? I just wanted to speak on the Lakers' effort, mostly in the second half. I think it was really encouraging, the fact that they kept trying to fight to get back in the game. Because, coming off the back-to-back with Utah, that's why it's such a blessing that we found out that they won last night, because after tonight, if we would have lost last night, who knows what the standings would be like.
Well, Tony, they got.
I think their effort was really good.
I think they got. I think they got a little lucky last night too. And I agree with you. I think one thing could have happened tonight, even though towards the end of the game I'd like to see LeBron James and Anthony Davis out of the game. When the game was over, I don't think it was necessary to have them in. But they didn't fold up shop at halftime when they were down 19. They came back, they fought, made it interesting for a little bit here in the third quarter. All right, let's get Anthony Davis's thoughts on the game tonight. Played 32 minutes. Bron played 35. D'Angelo played 40. AD 17 and 11 on the night. Here's Anthony Davis.
AD, obviously health, the main priority here. What was the process like mentally and physically as you ultimately set up to be able to play?
I'm just trying to see how it feels for the game. Physical standpoint, mentally, obviously I haven't played it back in a long time. So just mentally getting prepared to try to play, not showing how the foot's going to react. But I was able to get through the game.
Do you feel like, as of right now, obviously, you feel okay?
I've been better, but I'll be fine.
So obviously not the result you guys wanted. What is there to be said about the reps, the opportunity for you guys to have your full squad and continue to kind of build here down the stretch?
Yeah, I think they came out, I think they did come out very hot, shooting the ball. Slow start for us. Obviously they been out for a couple days. We went into overtime last night, not using it as an excuse. But that's I think that's what led to our slow start. Came out with a lot of energy. And then the game, games where it's back to back, you can't really, start slow. That's what we did. Missing shots, giving them open looks. Was able to cut it back. Now you have to exert all the energy that you have to cut the lead down instead of pushing the lead up. That was the game.
What did the process look like for you to have the determination to go? And now knowing the result, what do you think the team gained by going forward with everyone, even if the loss was the result?
Yeah, I probably had it in my mind that I was going to play regardless just because of the game. But I think we gained more chemistry. Even though it's not the result we wanted, we were able to get a healthy squad. Even if Mo didn't play, just getting him back, getting all our guys back and healthy, and getting reps out on the floor for his last two games, and then leading to playoffs.
You had won 7 out of 8, and not that the rhythm's totally gone after tonight, but just how does this sharpen everyone's kind of feelers for these final two?
Like I said, just being at full strength, and then too, long road trip, but I think us at full strength, beat anybody. It was all really just about reps out there for us. I think our guys are, we continuously learning each other. Obviously guys are in or out, and then it's tough to kind of get that continuity that you want, but like I said, this game, we lost, we can look at it from the side of just getting reps with each other and getting more comfortable with our team, and it's going to benefit us down the line.
Darvin was praising the group for how it still competed even through the adversity of the condensed schedule and facing different deficits in this game. How have you seen the group grow in that department in terms of handling challenges?
Yeah, just keep fighting. Resiliency. You get down, you're down like 20 or 19, just fighting back. Continue taking it one play at a time, next play mentality. And like I said, it was a little, funky trip, flying all over the place, getting stuck and weather and everything like that. But was able to come out, even though it was the last game on the road trip technically. We just battled. That's all we can do. Like I said, they came out shooting the ball very well. We started off slow, dug ourselves a hole, missing shots and turnovers. So it's always tough to win a game like that. But, I do agree, with the way they competed tonight.
They were waiting for this game. They talked about what a huge game it was. And then on top of that, you knew Russ was going to have the boosters kind of lit. What did you see from him in those first 5-6 minutes of the game in terms of setting a tone for them?
Yeah, I think they kind of got them going. I think he made 2 threes, made a couple pull-ups. That's an energy booster for them. We got, I think our game plan was for him kind of, shoot the ball, he made them. You know, he made the shots. Like I said, and it kind of snowballed down to everybody else who started making shots. Got their crowd into it and everything like that. So, you know, hats off to him.
This group hasn't had a ton of adversity. It's been a pretty winning team, but when it has kind of struck, how have you liked the way this group has responded?
Yeah, respond very well. I mean, you know, and through a course of a game, next game, you know, we lose. You know, our mindset is not to lose 2 in a row. Coming to the next game, trying to get a win. You know, we just stay prepared. Try to deal with adversity as best as we can. But I think our growth just through the course of the game has been, you know, very good. You know, there's a lot of growth in that department. You know, not hanging our heads or getting down. You know, when teams make leads, knowing that, you know, we just take it one play at a time and we can, you know, cut the lead down and get back in the game. So, like we did, you know, tonight. You know, they just made a lot of shots. So, we definitely have growth in that department.
Does it feel like you guys have been playing playoff games for a couple weeks now?
Probably for the last month and a half. Every game has been important for us, climbing up in the standings, trying to get to where we want to ultimately be. For the last probably month and a half has been a very important game for us.
What was the biggest difference with LeBron in the first half versus the second half, like in terms of just his rhythm and his groove?
He's on his rhythm, making shots, getting to the basket. You know, start limiting his turnovers. You know, trying to make plays. And was turning it over and then come out very aggressive in the second half. So I think that was the main difference.
All right, that's Anthony Davis right there. Let's squeeze in another quick call right here. By the way, AD talking a little bit about doesn't feel all that great right now, but he'll be fine. That's a little interesting. I know he's trying to gut out this win or gut out the performance tonight coming back from yesterday's game. Has not played a back-to-back since November. Keep that in mind. Has not played a back-to-back since November. Steven LaHabra, what's going on, Steve?
Hey, not much, buddy. Hey, just want to make it real quick. I've been calling Laker talk since Chick Hearns didn't even have a screener. And, you know, Chick would just take the calls right off the ringer. But you're a screen caller. Like I called, and before I even said anything, he said, Laker talk, 1, 2. And I was like, he was like going to hang up on me at 3 seconds. Someone needs to school this guy on, you know,
Steve,
how to take phone calls.
I get it. Tell me what you thought of the game tonight.
No excuses. Anthony Davis was coming up with excuses, saying that, you know, well, back to back, and I haven't played back to back in a long time. You know, that's a lame excuse, bro. You know, that the Clippers were waiting for us. No, they weren't waiting for us. They've dominated you 11 games in a row. You forget this back to back. You know how many people work? Trash truck drivers, UPS drivers, construction workers work back to back to back to back to back to back. He was in a luxury chair, getting his feet massaged. You know, saying he had to work 2 days in a row.
Well, Steve, I'll tell you this. I will say that. Yet, here's the absolute reality of it. All the other teams don't care. Nobody cares that you are in back-to-backs. Clippers are worried about the Clippers. They're not worried about the Lakers. If they could take advantage of – let me give you an example. The Phoenix Suns got a game tomorrow against the Denver Nuggets. You know what they do after the game against Denver? They're going to fly to Los Angeles to take on the Los Angeles Lakers on Friday. Lakers will have an opportunity to take advantage of a Phoenix Suns team that's on a back-to-back. That's just part of the NBA schedule, period. And I know what you're trying to say. I know you're trying to give the example of nobody wants to hear some of the excuses. I think two things can be right. I think that is a legit – I think the Lakers, a big reason why they lost tonight is because they had to play in a game last night against the Utah Jazz that went to overtime, and AD had to play 42 minutes and Bron had to play 38. But it doesn't matter. That's part of the schedule. You're going to have schedules. You're going to have games sometimes that work to your benefit, and the schedule sometimes is going to work against you. It worked against the Lakers tonight. And the Clippers have feasted on the Lakers 11 games in a row. Okay, when we come back, we'll get a chance to hear from LBJ. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll get a chance to hear from LeBron. Plus, we'll get a chance to hear from Austin Reeves as well. Do all that coming up next. Stay right here. This is Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710.
The Big New Yorker from Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut. Big pizza, bigger deal.
Big New Yorker only at PizzaHut.com.
Once again,
Here's Alan Sliwa.
Final score tonight, 125-118. Crypto.com arena. Clippers 42-38 on the season. Lakers 41-39. Clippers gain a game. Plus, they got the tiebreaker on the Lakers. 2 more games left for the Lake Show. They got the Phoenix Suns coming up on Friday. And then Sunday's going to be interesting against the Utah Jazz. Not from a Laker perspective, the fact that all these games, you're going to have 10 a.m. games or 12:30 games. And then that's a wrap of the regular season. Some of those squads, whatever happens over these last few days or so, will finally determine what's such a hectic look at the standings. Even to today, where there's only 2 games left, Lakers could still get to the number 6 spot. They could still fall to number 8. They could still fall to number 9. It's just kind of it's crazy how there's still a lot of movement, even though you only got 2 games left. But that's how it's been all year, where everybody's all bunched together, and even teams like the Dallas Mavericks still have a shot to get into that playing tournament. All right, let's take a quick call here. Let's go Jeff in L.A. What's going on, Jeff?
Hey, Sliwa, thank you for having me on. Bro, that's crazy. I think the Lakers this year, they really want to beat the Clippers. Because normally we lose to them all the time, but they wanted to destroy the Clippers, man. And you could tell they're upset because Anthony Davis and LeBron James were very upset towards the end of the game. And they know they could beat them. And it's one of those small rivalries. It's like, we got to beat them. Chris says it all the time.
Jeff, it's kind of funny because I think we're looking this up. Last time the Lakers beat the Clippers was in the bubble, July 30th, 2020. And a rival would be if the Lakers and the Clippers face in the playoffs and kind of go back and forth. And because they haven't made the playoff, or because the Lakers and the Clippers haven't faced in the playoffs, I don't like to use the word rival. But for years, the Lakers dominated the Clippers. And then in the Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Jamal Crawford, those days, Clippers dominated the Lakers. And then starting to go back to a stretch now, it's been since 2020 since the Lakers have beat the Clippers. It's another dominating stretch for the Clippers. But I didn't look at it as much because they're playing the Clippers tonight. I looked at it more because I want to avoid the play-in tournament. That's it. That I think there's such an advantage to getting that week off for the Lakers. They would play Sunday afternoon this Sunday, and then if they're not in the play-in tournament, which by the way, that's not out of the question yet. It's Phoenix. If the Golden State Warriors drop one of their final 2 games, then the Lakers are right back in the mix here for that number 6 spot. But I think just avoiding the play-in tournament would be such a big advantage for a Lakers team that's kind of battled injuries, everything else that goes. No more back-to-backs. That's also out of the way as well. All right, let's take a quick listen here. Here's Austin Reeves on the Lakers' loss.
Austin Darvin said, excuses aside, obviously the reality of just kind of the traveling and the 3 and 4 nights and the Clippers coming in on some rest. How much did that kind of factor in for you guys mentally and physically and what it kind of required to get up for this one?
Obviously we had a tough game last night going into overtime. A lot of players logged a lot of minutes. But at the same time, everybody does that in the league, so no excuses. We just got outplayed today.
What can be gained for this squad, just having these reps and opportunities here as a whole now down the stretch?
Just chemistry coming together. We're fairly new since the trade deadline, but I feel like we've meshed really well, and, it's just going to get even better as we play together. So that's really the main thing, is just continuing to learn one another.
What's been your take on when you guys do lose a game, the bounce back seems to be very, very strong the next outing?
Yeah, all these games the last month and a half have been, very crucial with the situation we've been in. So you never want to drop 2 in a row. So, it's always just a win mentality.
2 games left. Is the idea to still hopefully become one of the top 6 team, or are you kind of regulated to knowing that 7th seed is the most likely outcome of this?
I don't even know what outcome 6, 7, 8 is, honestly. So, we'll go try to win the next 2 games, and whatever happens. We're really just focused about the group that we have and what we can do to continue to get better.
All right, that's Austin Reeves right there. So, look, there's a couple guys so far taking kind of the stance on this. I'm going to go back to it. I do think last night's game obviously had an effect on tonight's game, but ultimately when the dust settles, it's not going to matter. You either won the game or you lost. Lakers lost to the Clippers, and the Clippers now find themselves driver's seat to obviously avoid the play-in tournament. The Golden State Warriors still have a game. We always go on this tankathon, strength of schedule. It's actually fascinating. The only games that really matter, I don't know how Phoenix is going to approach their final 3 games. They got the Nuggets, they got the Clippers, they got the Lakers, they got all 3 of us. There's not going to be anything in the standings for them to play for, so I'd be curious what they do on Friday night. New Orleans is tied with the Lakers. They still have the Knicks, and they have the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Golden State Warriors still has to play at Sacramento, and they got a Portland Trailblazers game as well. So still a lot to kind of unfold. And with so many moving parts right now, it's hard to determine where the Lakers are going to finish off, but it just shows the effect one loss can have, and Lakers obviously lose tonight. Let's take a listen. Here's LeBron on the Lakers' loss.
Ron, you mentioned coming off last night that the minutes last night, obviously this being your first back-to-back in quite some time. What was the process leading up to today? At what point in time did you know you'd be available?
It was tough. It's one of the toughest games we've had this year. Just coming off the road trip, and even though this was a road game, coming off the road trip and getting back, late last night, but after an overtime game, and it was a tough game for us. Obviously, we started off in the first half, not so playing Laker basketball. We had some good spurts, but not enough. So this is one of those scheduling conflicts, in the season, and definitely got the best of us tonight.
I know health is obviously the main priority, but once you hear that you are all available, reps is also big for you in chemistry as a team. How much does that kind of weigh into just that opportunity you guys had tonight?
Yeah, obviously since the trade, we've been, playing some good basketball. But the one thing we've been lacking a little bit is just the consistency of our lineups. Obviously I was out 4 weeks, and D-Lo's kind of been in and out. But for the majority of our guys, have definitely stepped up. So with these last 2 games, you definitely see if we can figure something out. As far as our chemistry. But I think at the end of the day, we've been still playing good ball. So not too much. I'm not thinking about that too much.
LeBron, you said that you were going to determine your playing status once you got up and kind of tested your foot in the morning. When did you know for sure that you were going to play tonight?
About 60 on the clock, 1 hour before the game.
How important is it for you guys to avoid that play-in tournament?
Listen, it is what it is. Wherever we end up, that's where we end up. It's been like 4 or 5 seasons in one for us. We don't have the luxury of, saying this is what we need to do, this is where we're going to be. We need to still continue to play good basketball. We got another game on Friday versus a very good team. Then we end the season on Sunday, versus Utah. So we'll see what happens. We'll see wherever we fall, and we'll be ready to go.
LeBron, what's it been like about managing the day-to-day grind of this season? What's the key of being able to navigate through that?
I've been in this 20 years, so it comes with it. I already know it's going to hit at what point, and so it's nothing new to me. Obviously, it's just all part of it.
Right, you mentioned the roster continuity. The whole group didn't come together till after the trade deadline and then the injuries and all that. But tonight, even when the outcome kind of seemed decided late in a game, you all stayed out there. Is that like level of commitment just to getting more reps? Could that benefit you guys?
Because we capture it on film and we can watch it and see some of the things we did well, some of the things we didn't do so well. At this point in the season, you don't have the ability to actually get on the floor and play 5-on-5. That's literally out of the question at this point. The only time you really do that if you get into a postseason and you close the series out fast and you have quite a while until you play the next series, then you can get a little bump. But other than that, you get most of your work, in the film sessions and on the shoot-arounds and things of that nature.
Ty had said before the game he wasn't going to double AD, and obviously that took place.
Y'all believe that?
Not really.
Oh, okay, good.
What do you guys do when teams are going to do that to him?
We got to be in the right spots at the right time. And we got to, put ourselves in position and put guys in position to be successful. We should go into every game with the mindset that the teams are going to double AD because of how great of a player he is.
Whether it's the play-in or you guys are able to get into one of those top 6 seeds, from a continuity, from a chemistry standpoint, what more do you need to accomplish these next 2 games to be ready?
For us, it's just health. It's always about health. That's been, over the last couple of years, that's been our Achilles heel. So it's all about health. If we can maintain our health over the next couple of games and then going into the playoffs or wherever we're at, then we'll be fine.
All right, that's LeBron James right there. Lakers lose, final score 125-118. I want to play one more interview here. D'Angelo Russell, who missed about the last game and a half. I'm sure he'll talk about how he's feeling. Here's D-Lo on the Lakers' loss.
And what the last couple of days have been like for you in terms of preparing to play today?
Trying to get right. Playing at 50% isn't helping the team, so whenever I'm more than that, I'm ready to play.
How do you feel like you were able to come out of today, though I know probably tomorrow is a bigger indicator?
We had a back-to-back, so to get that day off on the first side of it and try to become, be more fresher for the second end of it is obviously did me justice to come out and be pain-free, so I'll be all right.
Darvin told us in Salt Lake that the foot soreness is something you've been dealing with for a while now. What do you know what caused it to flare up, and is it something that you're going to have to manage what's left of the regular season and postseason?
Definitely something to manage. Just wear and tear, long season.
You guys have been, I don't want to say adversity-free, but this is a team that's won a lot of games. What do you think about this group and the way it'll respond to losses? Have you seen things along the way that tip you as to how this group is going to respond to this?
Too soon to tell. It's too soon. Still developing chemistry and trying to get a little bit of a little more games under our belt. It's end of the season, so it's kind of tough to do that. But I think the more the better. The more we play, the more we just do everything as a group. I think the better for our group.
All right, that's D'Angelo Russell right there. So final score tonight, Lakers lose to the Clippers 125-118. Next opportunity for the Lakers will come on Friday night. Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, Devin Booker. I'm not sure if we're going to see all those guys because I don't know if the Clippers, or I'm not sure if the Phoenix Suns will have anything to play for, but the Lakers still got a lot to play for as far as positioning goes in the Western Conference standings. That game, pregame show is going to start at 6. Tip-off will tip off at 7:30. Quick shout-out here. Thank you to Michael Funches, Laura Romo, Wilbert Flores, Brian Cohen, DeAndre Hawkins, and Parker Bell, our entire social team as well. So appreciate everybody here internally at the studio. I'll be back on tomorrow. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max will start at 6 a.m. I'll do my show with Travis Rogers, Mason Island, Sedano, and Cap. Then I'm back on tomorrow night. Lakers Talk tomorrow night. We had the national championship game on Monday, so we did not have Lakers Talk. We'll have it coming up tomorrow. We'll talk Lakers basketball and break down all the kind of chaos going on in the league. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Alan Sliwa. This has been the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Thank you for listening to Lakers Basketball Tonight.
Lakers Basketball on ESPNLA is sponsored by Subaru of Glendale,
the #1 volume Subaru dealer in California.
Lakers Basketball. Big is back. It's bigger, it's cheesier. The Big New Yorker from Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut. Big pizza, bigger deal. $13.99 Big New Yorker, only at PizzaHut.com.
Presented by CallJacob.com. Winning matters. That's why after an accident, you have to go to CallJacob.